right, guys, this is Crazy Kevin here, and I'm here with Oliver Enkamp. Oliver, how are we doing?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Oh.
Enjoying my Sunday. It's usually the best day of the week because we have a lot of training sessions at the gym and we do sparring. It's everyone's favorite training day. So it's always high vibes and I come home feeling grateful.
Awesome. Well, high vibes are always awesome. And with that being said, it's been almost a year since we've seen you in the Bellator cage. What's next for you with fighting?
Yeah, so actually, I fought my whole training camp with some loose fragments in my elbow. So I had those from my injury. It's like calcifications that been forming over the years from all the wrestling and grappling. And then last January, I kind of overextended my arm in a pad holding session. And then these small fragments started moving around in the arm. So I had to go through some surgery after my last fight. I couldn't even punch hard during my whole training camp because they would get stuck in there and cause a lot of pain. So I did the surgery, and then I went into like a rehab phase. But then when I started training again for a new fight last fall, I started having some problems with the elbow again. So I did a new X-ray, and they noticed there's a lot more of those fragments and pieces in there. So actually, I'm doing another surgery in 2 days, and we're taking out the rest from that elbow so I can be good from now on. So yeah, that's been the thing. It's a long process with the medical establishment in Sweden. It's a long line to wait to get times and stuff. So things doesn't work really as fast as they do in the United States, for example. So yeah, it's been a lot of rehabbing and training with a weird elbow, but I hope to get fit again around summer. So maybe come fall again, I can take a new fight, but I don't have anything lined up because I don't know how long the recovery process will be.
Fair enough. No, it definitely makes sense. And good luck on your surgery in a couple days. With that being said, in one of your previous fights, you happen to have that Japanese necktie submission. With that being said, who taught you that submission, and how often were you even practicing that move?
It's funny. I can remember exactly the moment I was taught this because we have this iconic training camp called MMA Academy. It doesn't exist anymore, but that's where I first got introduced to MMA in Sweden in 2009. And at one of those later camps, I think maybe 2016 or something, I was training under this Swedish coach, Joakim Engberg. He's been coaching a lot of other UFC fighters, Alistair Overeem, for example. And he was having a grappling class, and he showed me that move. And I recall, I don't know if he recalls, but at a later camp, we were grappling together, and I put him in that move. And I told him, "Oh, you remember? You taught me this." And I mean, I do it in practice because I have long arms, I have a long reach. So I'm 183 like this, but I'm 195 like this. It's a big difference. So my long arms works well for those head and arm chokes. So I do a lot of Darce chokes and Japanese necktie, which is like a version of Darce choke, really.
Yeah, no, 100%. It was definitely an awesome submission to watch. And with that being said, you have a karate base, and with you having a karate base, how do you think that was like a good martial art to kind of start with for MMA?
I think above all, it karate with its traditional values foster this mindset. It teaches you a lot of discipline, which is needed in all sports to really excel. You learn to become your own best coach because you take a very analytic approach to your craft, to your karate. It also gives you a lot of flexibility and balance. And if you start from a young age, you really, in my experience and a lot of people that I talk to, you keep that mobility and flexibility up until old age without really having to do much if you started doing it young. And then the most maybe obvious qualities from an outside perspective is the speed and footwork of the karate fighters. They're very fast in and out. They have this bouncy style. which makes it great for MMA striking, because we don't standing bang as much as they do in boxing or Muay Thai, because you can't trade blows with 4-ounce gloves. Someone is going down. So this fast-paced footwork and movement has really brought a lot to my MMA game from the karate style.
That definitely makes sense. Now, how hard was the transition from like doing the karate style to going straight into MMA?
It's actually a pretty funny question, because I was a black belt in karate. I never done any grappling or anything, so I thought I knew fighting. I can kick someone in the head. I'm good at this. And then I come to this training camp that I was talking about, the MMA Academy, and I got introduced to jiu-jitsu and wrestling and stuff, and I feel like a total beginner again. But I was not discouraged. On the opposite, I view it as a challenge. I want to learn this. So I started focusing a lot on the grappling aspects. I did Greco-Roman wrestling, freestyle wrestling, all kinds of submission arts to learn everything. And then basically forged my own system. And from having all these techniques, I really had to scale it down to what actually works in MMA to make it more effective. Because if you end up in a certain position, you might have 10, 12 options. But if you want to do them like this, you need to have something just hardwired, like a reaction. So I have my like ABCs from every position. If A doesn't work, I go to B. If that doesn't work, I go to C. And sometimes some freaky position happens and you have to improvise, obviously. But we can just look at the statistics of the UFC, for example, the most common positions and submission holds, and those are the ones you need to put most emphasis on.
Yeah, 100%. That definitely makes sense. Now, with you being inside of martial arts schools kind of your whole life, what is something that kind of stands out that makes a martial arts school a Macdojo?
Oh, Macdojo. I would say like a big red flag.
Yep.
Is if you have an instructor, a coach, that only tells you what to do, but he can't show the way. So they're great theoretical thinking maybe, but it's not battle proven or tested,
Right.
I think that's a big red flag. And I see a big similarity between these types of Macdojo teachers is that they have a very, let's say, harsh and military style of teaching. Because if they are not sure that their stuff works, they have to gain your respect some other way. So if they can't show it or do it themselves, if they can't spar with you and put you in these submission holds that you're going to do on your opponents, they need to gain your respect by being super hard and disciplined and give you punishments like push-ups and stuff like that instead. So they kind of make their fighters scared of them because they're being so kind of like bullies in their teaching style, really. So that's one of the biggest Macdojo red flags for me.
I like it. That definitely makes sense. Now, for someone that's looking to open up maybe their own dojo themselves, and they're going to be their own business owner. And with that being said, what advice would you maybe give to somebody that's opening up their own dojo?
Number one, do it from the heart and not for the money. You need to create a team where everyone feels included. If you have like a bunch of instructors and you just pay them and they come in and they get the payment and they move, they will never form a community together. So you need like a like-minded team that are as good friends as they are colleagues or whatever you want to call it. So I would say start with a bunch of friends that share the same interest, and you help each other grow. You experiment. You're not afraid to make mistakes, and realize that it's gonna be hard in the beginning, maybe to get it going, to get it rolling. But once you get to a certain point, it goes downhill because people start talking. And just if you do it from the heart, you're gonna spread good vibes, and people want to stay there extra long after their sessions. They're going to talk more, share connections, and that's, I think, how you grow organically.
Yeah, no, 100%. I definitely think that's really important. You definitely have to be, genuine with your teaching. I think that will definitely rub off on the students and the parents. And with that being said, too, what is kind of like a daily schedule for you for your dojo?
So for our gym, we only do like evening classes. So in the daytime, we mostly work. We have a big facility, so we clean everything. Everyone who comes there says it's so clean here. It's like being home, because it is basically our home. We spend so much time there. So we clean everything, and then we do all the administration work with computers and stuff. And then we start usually around 5 p.m. with kids classes. And we have Thai boxing, karate, and MMA for kids. And then at around 6 p.m. we have beginner classes in the same martial art, including BJJ. And at 7 we have like intermediate and advanced groups. So it goes on like that until 9 p.m. basically every day. And Sundays like today we open up at 9 in the morning. So we go classes all day.
Nice. That's awesome. Now, obviously, kids are a lot harder to teach than adults sometimes when it comes to like patience level. Now, when the kids aren't behaving, what is maybe something that you guys do to, help keep the kids focused in class?
Yeah. I love teaching kids because they're so honest. They tell you how it is, and you need to understand what you're saying from the kids' perspective. And a lot of mistakes I see teachers do with kids is treating them like small adults. Because if you get stuck too long on a certain technique and you're talking about the details and how to do everything, they're in their mind somewhere else, or looking over there, or playing with their friend, they just want to have fun. So you need to incorporate the teachings as like a byproduct of having fun. So what I do a lot is gamification. You make a game of everything. You make it fun for them. They love to wrestle. They love to fight and stuff. So you kind of incorporate the techniques into that and make it playful. And it's important to separate playful silly and playful serious. So we still want to have respect and some rules, some etiquette, so the kids don't hurt each other or do something stupid, break a mirror or something. So freedom within certain guidelines, which we like to call serious play. I think that's the way to go about any kids' classes in martial art.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense, and I definitely think that's some good advice. And with that being said, you mentioned that you're a black belt yourself. Are you able to talk a little bit about what was on your black belt test and how you earned it?
Yeah, so in our karate style, we have this kind of curriculum for every belt that you go through. So it's yellow, orange, green, blue, purple, brown, and then you get a bunch of stripes on your brown, and then you go to black belts. So you have to first show everything that comes to all those belts before, which are the forms, kata, the basics, kihon, and the partner drills, kumite. So these are like the 3 Ks of karate. And when you've done all of that, which takes like an hour and a half maybe, then you do half an hour of free fighting. Jisen kumite is the Japanese word, but it's like mixed martial arts rules. And you get fresh opponents all the time, but you have to stay in there for half an hour. So it's more of a test of heart and will than winning every fight, And then when you're really broken down and beaten up and you just want to go home and quit, then you have to break boards. So breaking boards is more of a test of character at the end of all of this exhaustion, and see if you can gather the willpower and put all your energy and focus into one punch or one kick and go through the test. That's like the final, crossing the finish line,
I love it.
yeah, and then you've earned it.
No, that's definitely awesome. That definitely sounds like a great test. And you mentioned some of the forms and katas that you had to do. Do you happen to have a favorite form or kata that you did?
When I was competing actively in karate, which I did a lot with my brother, we were traveling around Europe a lot. I love the Ryu katas, which is like a traditional Okinawan style, and their katas are pretty different from the other big karate styles like Shotokan that people recognize. They have this like jumping techniques, like you jump with the punches and you hit with the open palm strikes, and it looks pretty badass. So two that I remember from the top of my head: Anan kata, Paiku, and Heiku. Those are three. So I really like to practice those.
Nice, very nice. Okay, now if you're a judge, like for a tournament, and you're maybe like judging someone's form or kata, what kind of would make a good form or kata in your eyes?
So the first thing that comes to mind is kime. Kime is like tension and relaxation together. So you can perform a strike with full force, full power, full speed, and then stop it at the exact right moment within balance and structure in your body and everything. So it looks beautiful too. So having the kime, like also the intention behind the technique. So do you strike just to make it look good or to actually kill someone, you know? Even though you punch thin air, you still need to show that killer instinct through your technique, and have all those things that I just mentioned, like the balance and the structure, alignment of your body, the speed and the power. I think it's when you have trained just a little bit of karate, it's pretty obvious. You see when someone is a true black belt and when someone has trained in the Macdojos.
Yeah, 100%. Now, I'm curious, have you happened to see any of these like NASCA, like sport karate guys that do a bunch of like flipping and stuff during their forms or katas? What do you happen to think of those guys?
I think it looks awesome. It's not karate. It has nothing to do with karate. But I was into breakdance a lot, and I love extreme martial arts and tricking and throwing flips and stuff. I've been into acrobatics and gymnastics, just playing around. So I love it. But it's two separate things. And yeah, you call it karate, but it's not the same.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way.
Awesome on their own.
Yeah, no, I 100% hear you there. No, I was definitely curious. I'm glad that you happened to catch some of those guys too. So with that being said, I mentioned to you when I was setting up the interview, you know, I've been doing Taekwondo my whole life. I've been training for 20 years and I've been teaching for 6 years. I just love what I do, so it was really, really cool to talk to you. And with that being said, with all the guys I have in my gym, what advice would you have those guys keep coming into the gym and keep getting better and better every single day?
Focus on the process and not the results. So this is something I learned early on when I started competing that I use for everything in my life. So you can have result-based goals and you can have process-based goals. A result-based goal would be winning or losing, you know, but then what? A process-based goal would be like, in this fight or in this challenge, I want to improve X, Y, Z. So I was using this method for all my amateur fights. So for instance, like one fight, I would try out a completely new type of footwork. And I used that fight as a learning lesson. Either it's good, I keep it, or it didn't work for me, I discard it. Or I would have a process-based goal, like I want to land a takedown this fight. Or I want to get into boxing range and have the courage to let my hands go. So those were kind of process-based goals that really accelerated my development in the martial arts. And then winning or losing comes second, because this makes it a win-win. Even if you lose the fight, you learn something new, it becomes a win.
Yeah.
And then if you win the fight as well, it's a double win, right? But this, I think, is the best way to go about it if you want to go far and not just fast.
Fair enough. No, I definitely think that's some good advice. And with that being said, Oliver, last message out there for the fans that are going to be watching this video.
I'm looking for some great, wise words that can, I don't know, I don't have any sudden inspiration, but go follow me, Oliver Enkamp at at Instagram. I'm on Facebook as well. Karate by Jesse on YouTube. That's my brother's channel where I'm featured a lot, and we travel around and film with a lot of cool guys. I bet you're gonna like it. So yeah, if you want to support me, just give me a like, a follow, and comment on my post.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, we definitely got to give you a follow, and definitely got to follow your brother as well too. He has an awesome YouTube channel that I love to watch, and he's got a lot of good advice out there for anybody that's a teacher as well too, to kind of help out some students and stuff. And Oliver, thank you so much for coming on. It means a lot to me. And hey, if you're ever in Philly, I would love to train with you as well too. Maybe you and your brother. My students would love it as well too.
It was my pleasure, Kevin.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. No problem. And enjoy the rest of your weekend, and talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Peace out.
Bye-bye.